Wolf, Brilliant Fusion, Left Arm Offering,
Reborn?
and Reborn, I guess.
Yeah, so left arm offering into grass, go for it. No, really, but the Brilliant Fusion Reborn is good, of course. The problem I see is that he does not really have a monster to normal summon to it. I mean, we haven't seen the 5th card.
Exactly.
But if that is the case, that might really hurt him. Dimitrios also started with a card you don't necessarily want to draw, which would be Spirit Master. I mean, Spirit Master is okay if you open with the Brigade and you mull the Solitaire, but it's not the best card. And
There's also
another left
offering.
arm, yeah, and a Snow. I mean, Snow is good because I really like to draw Snow in this deck because you have many ways to discard it, or extra normal summon and link it away, or exceeds, whatever you want to do with it. But having Snow in play is always good.
I mean, it's now actually interesting who is going to get first, because Yannick's hand looks like he can do a little bit something going first. And so far on Dimitrios' hand, it's like summoning a monster pass. Not sure.
Yeah, I mean he could. I mean we haven't seen all the, because I think it's Destrudo next to Wolf, so 2 Garnets basically. I mean he's only playing. No,
Okay.
he's playing
He has
multiple Wolves, right?
Ash Blossom Dimitrios. That's interesting.
Oh yeah, I would Ash that. Yeah,
I think it's correct. Yeah.
Ash. Some Lightsworn players said that Ash sometimes is much more important than Grass, because you are pretty much safe to get your stuff into the graveyard. You can send a Snow, guaranteed. Yeah, that hurts. That hurts a lot, because he could have gone with Seraphinite and summon the Destruder next to it, and maybe go for an Underclock Taker, Reborn something. I mean, he had options to do stuff, and they're gone.
Well, I think at the point of at this point of Yannick just probably just going to pass.
Yeah.
I mean, with Reborn Destruder, he has like the field nuke ready.
Yeah,
because
that's true.
There will be a 4 months in Dimitrios' grave afterwards.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's also breaking around. And maybe if Dimitrios is starting to play a little bit, his left arm offering could get crucial and getting him a grass, which does something.
Yeah, I mean, he also has the option to go for Reborn on Ash, summon Destrudo, and then pass. Because we don't have Needle 5.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
What will happen right now?
What are you doing? He's left arm offering now, maybe. Is he, I'm really scared that he might search the grass.
I don't think so. I think he will go with
Desires or Brigade.
Yeah, Desires or Brigade. Not sure if. Well, Brigade is actually okay. He didn't norm summon yet, right?
Yes, but he
gets
still
like
can't go into
7 mils, so
yeah,
maybe he gets a
7 mils
Snow
is okay.
and yeah.
Yeah, I would have.
That's alright. I mean,
do you prefer 7 mils and a Raiden on board, or like a guaranteed draw 2?
well, the question is, with the raid mill, it's possible to get something going.
Yeah, but he also opens up he's kind of unbricking Dimitri's hand, right? Because the left arm is now alive, saying that he can search grass looks green. It's not completely terrible.
I think would it have made a difference if he's going with Desires with 10
No,
banishing
that
cards,
makes
so
it worse actually. Yeah. Okay.
I think it's alright. He milled Shiranui, how is it called? Spirit Master? Solitaire, sorry, yeah. So maybe a Metsuki into something. Okay, so we're going to see.
Snow.
Okay. So we're in this game.
And I mean, he has the option to now go for an Omega. But he also, I mean, that would leave him at no cards in the graveyard except for Raiden and Snow, I think. And that is not really what you want, right?
I think it's not necessary to do that. Like just going to end phase, milling 2 other cards, potentially Solitaire, Spirit Master, something like that. If he decides to go for it,
he still. You should remember that he banished the Destruder with left arm, and they can send this one to the graveyard to have the Destruder plays up for next turn. But I doubt that this is the best choice, because you have no other plays then. I mean, with what monster are you going to synchro summon?
Okay. He goes for rank 4 for Abyss Dweller, which
It does nothing actually. I mean, yes, it's protecting him. But
makes grass less good. But still, I mean,
oh, he has Goblinberg as well. That is great. He can go for Goblinberg and then left arm. I mean, that is good.
I think he would miss a card in hand, right? Or
No, he Ash Blossom.
okay. Oh, he drew a little Fire Blossom.
Oh, that is also strong. There's no way for Yannick to stop that. This game is over. I mean, I hate to say that this early, but how is he can discard Snow with the Scorpio and he hasn't drawn to a Garnet. So, I mean, yes, Dweller will stop him from getting immediate value out of the Snow or out of anything he sends, but he can just build up resources while Yannick has nothing. So that looks grim for Yannick, who is, I think, a Swiss player.
Yeah, exactly. Players located near of Lucerne, or where he plays normally. And he's kind of famous in Switzerland for playing 60 cards actually, because he's playing it the whole time. So
yeah,
like the whole Berlin community.
I mean, no one can blame him. This is such a fun.
It is, yeah. You have some from time to time just decide where you just can't play at all.
Yeah, that's
why I don't like to play it at tournaments, but for games in between where you're just like, okay, I bricked it, just shuffling back the hand to play, or at least play. It's alright.
So he's going to go for the Invoker. In case any of you don't know the combo, he's going to summon. Oh yeah, Trick Clown is getting stopped. Remember that he's going to summon Heroic Challenger 1000 Blades. 1000 Blades summons itself back from the graveyard upon getting damaged by your opponent once per turn in defense position. That works every turn. So this is infinite value basically. I mean, not infinite, but
it's alright.
8,000 value. So he goes for the Mrs. Radiant now, and now I think he's supposed to send Garnet, of course, and another Snow maybe. I mean, there are not so many advantages of having double Snow if you have this low amount of cards in the graveyard, but Dweller is active, so anything else would basically be a waste of a send.
Exactly. You could like argue for a Rain or stuff like that if he's going for a Pochinki Amaterasu play.
It's the Snow.
Okay, that's alright. So he's going to Seraphonite. Do you think he's going for Curious to send something specific? Like a Spirit Master or something like that?
Spirit Master or Giant Rex maybe, right? That could be. I mean, you're not really giving your opponent any advantage by doing so, right? Because, I mean, yes, he gets another extra deck zone, but he's barely even gonna make one extra deck monster.
Exactly, just with this one card in hand, like 4 cards in grave for Snow, which isn't enough. And you have like the double interruption with, well, he already has Spirit Master, so maybe he's not even, or he doesn't even need to go into Curious. Or does he have like anything else which would be reasonable to send?
No.
Like a Solitaire to getting back the Spirit Master. I'm not sure if that's really necessary. Like, why not go into a Dweller on your own?
Yeah, you could go for Dweller, you could go for Saryuya to draw more cards, but he goes for Burial.
Oh, that's decent.
That is good. Decent. That is good. I did not see that coming. I mean, not everyone is running Borreload nowadays, but that one is really putting Yannick in an even tougher spot, right? You have to out the Borreload, you don't have your graveyard. This game is over. I mean, double Snow. Yeah, that one's... it's not gonna happen for Yannick, right?
I'm just thinking about like options what he could draw, but it needs to be like a Desires into 2 other cards.
Yeah, not even Raigeki is gonna help him. Because Snows are just gonna make a Minerva or something, and
well, one card I know which would help him at this point. It's pretty infamous, or how you want to call it, Soul Charge.
Oh yeah, but he's taken a punch, right?
Yeah, I think he took like how much attack does Spirit Master
3-2
have?
damage. I think it should be.
So it's at 1-5 Spirit Master.
Yeah, and then 1,700 from Drello. So he should be at 4,800 life points.
Which would be alright. I think he has like Yui Zombie and Snow.
I think he does Snow. That's not gonna do it. Yeah, give him the Raiden back. Doesn't matter.
Like 5 cards in grave. Yeah, should be over.
I mean, if he had gone for Omega, he might have sniped out the Lone Fire Blossom, and that was basically the only way he could have won that. So I think Dweller was a good play. It was an okay play.
I mean, I'm still not sure if it was correct, like, to invest everything just in this charge. Charge itself was okay to get there with left arm, I guess.
Yeah, but his cards were so useless.
So yeah, he needed to like more than just the Snow, and also leaving the Snow in the graveyard would have been better, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Dweller should be sent to graveyard. Yeah.
Did he not attack with
I mean, he attacked the Spirit Master, Bringer.
Oh yeah, and now last turn with Dweller because his life points are still at 6,500.
Oh, that's possible. Maybe he forgot it. Not sure. There's the Raiden.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you forget those things, and it's not the
Okay.
most. Oh, there's
Be enough.
the
Okay.
pretty crucial solitaire. Yeah, there's the scoop phase from Yannick.
So,
Entered the scoop phase, right?
well, he had like the advantage, or just basically just regarding the deck, it felt like he has an advantage, but the openings hand of both players weren't that great, to be honest.
Yeah, until the Lone Fire Blossom appeared,
which was crucial at this point.
Yeah, and also discarding Snow. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, by the way, guys, this is how Borreload Dragon should really be used. Not really opening with it and hoping that your opponent can't break it. No, you take away a monster that your opponent uses to disrupt you, and then you disrupt him. That's the perfect use of a Borreload. Snatching, Dweller, Slide. Perfect.
Well, let's talk about the side decks.
Yeah, good idea. So, I have the Gamma Driver Engine, Naturia Rose Whip. I think that's quite early.
That's the one that says you can only activate once per
yes,
card per
this
turn,
card
right?
is awesome against the Brandish deck that will come out soon. There was a buyout on TCG Market. It is a bit hyped, mainly because people thought we were going to get Crystal Needle Fiber that can immediately special Rose Whip, and then Brandish has a really hard time to deal with the card unless they have the destroying spell. I don't know the names quite yet, or the anchor that negates cards. But yeah, Rose Whip, I really don't know what he's playing it against. He can access it with a Lone Fire Blossom.
Exactly. But in which matchup could it matter? Like, could you imagine that he's signing it against Draco?
Yeah, but that's not really what you want to do, right?
Well, that's the question. If the hand is pretty good, why not?
Yeah, I mean, what else does he play? He does not main deck Abyss Dweller for his extra deck. He plays 3 evenly matched, 3 Twin Twister, and 3 Called by the Grave.
So I could definitely see Called by the Grave, even though he's going second, that he's going to side them because they're crucial on Snow.
Yeah, but Snow can chain itself again.
Well, in this case, you would still like waste 14 cards.
That is true.
Which is not always possible to do so.
Especially if you can't resolve grass.
That's true. I think we can agree that Yannick will go first in this fourth match.
By the way, Dimitri is playing 3 Gamma and 3 Called by the Grave, so maybe he will have them in his main deck both games if he doesn't win this one already. Because if you resolve grass, Brilliant Fusion maybe, and it gets ashed, you can Gamma, and then you just have an Omega extra, and that is insane.
Well, that's insane value, yeah, exactly. We have on Yannick's side barriers, which might get in because I actually like them in the mirror match 60 cards.
Yeah, Call Fusion on brilliant.
Either that or also like having a look, okay, do I lose against an Xyz like Dweller or Utopia Lightning, stuff like that, or do I need to stop Scarlet Archfiend Dragon, whatever. So it's kind of polyvalent.
With Dweller, I like it a lot because you can wait for him to pass on Dweller, and then your turn. No, you can't exceed on your own. If you want to make synchros, then you can do it. But
Exactly. However, the rest of the side deck looks like just strictly going second with Reigeki, Twin Twister, evenly matched, and a Kaiju engine with Interrupted Kaiju, Slumber, and 4 Kaijus.
And none of those cards are really that effective against Lightsworn.
Could he see that maybe Yannick is going to go second? I mean, it looks weird, but regarding his side deck, there's like nothing he wants to side in going first besides Barrier.
I think 3 Barrier is enough to side and go first because basically in his mind maybe he thinks that his first turns are the strongest in the game anyways, except for the FTK obviously. So if he goes first, he does not need anything to side in except for maybe Barriers because it's so crucial against Pendulums and maybe in the mirror match.
But I mean, we're still talking about a 60 card decks where you side in 3 cards, so
yeah. But it's just extra. If you have it, you have it.
And I see my best friend in the hand of Dimitri, or one of my best friends, Deep Cypherane Driver.
Oh, Driver. This card's everywhere. I've the last tournament I cast was the Luzern tournament, I think, or Karlsruhe. It was Karlsruhe.
Yeah.
And Driver was everywhere in every hand. Everyone drew Driver.
Okay.
It was insane.
That looks okay. So we have also Garnet in the hand of Dimitros.
That hurts.
With Gotsuki and Spirit Master, and Artist Twin Twisters in the hand of Yannick.
So he wants to use those against Brilliant Fusion, I think.
Well, you need 1 but not 3 of them.
Yes.
However, the hand of Dimitros is so weird. Oh, he has a charge, okay, as 5th card, which is alright. So he has like Garnet and Driver, which doesn't accomplish everything, whereas Yannick has like the 3 Twin Twisters.
Yeah, those hands are terrible. But, I mean, at least he can use Twin Twister to discard Snow. I mean, just for the lulz, he could do it on the activation of Brigade. Just to get the Snow Grave, just in theory. But, I mean, he does not really get cards into the grave yet. There's the Drellower again.
I'm not sure if I like this one, just because if you have Twin Twister to getting rid of the Brilliant Fusion, is Dweller really that necessary at this point?
Yeah, by the way, I also think that you should just set 1 Twin Twister because of Dimitros Twin Twisters.
No, I think actually it's alright, because what you mentioned before, like, he won't do it on the Brigade, but if he would have access to like 7 cards, he could like, in the urgent case, Twin Twister his own Twin Twister.
I mean, that also works if he keeps 1 Twin Twister in hand, right?
Well, it depends if he's because on the chart itself you won't use it because that looks a little bit weird, but if you're going into battle phase, for example, if it's really necessary. But I see your point. Actually, for me, my question is basically why he decided to side in Twin Twisters, because just because of Brilliant Fusion,
I don't think it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it can win you the game on the spot, but the chance is.
I mean, if you would
really
imagine now that these would be like dimensional barriers,
yeah,
he would be in a great spot.
Yeah, true.
And now it looks not good at all, even though Dimitros is trying to get like his brick city together with Garnet, Driver.
I really must say that I think if Yannick went for an Omega, he would be in a much better spot.
Yeah, as like it's don't know the English expression, like doppelt gemoppelt, with Dweller and the Twin Twisters, just to carry the Brilliant Fusion.
So he drew another. Okay, he didn't draw Desires of Desires. The point is, at some point in the game, sometimes in the first turn, you have to decide whether you want to play or want to stop your opponent from playing. If you do decide to stop your opponent from playing, then you will have to make sure that you also have enough pressure to kill your opponent. I mean, Dweller is so weak. He just loses his entire board and all of his resources, basically, just to normal summon Snow. I mean, that is weird. Also, that could have been I think that was a terrible desires. I mean, he could have just normal summoned Solitaire and went for a. Oh no, he couldn't kill the Dweller then, and the Dweller was active. So forget that. I'm stupid.
Well, he drew another. Okay, so there we see Snow.
Oh, Gold Sarcophagus. It's probably going to be a Zodiac Barrage for Giant Rex. So he activates Dino Barrage.
So we could see at this point here Minerva.
Yeah.
So he has his Snow alive, and then even though his hand was really terrible, he could like be still in the game.
He could sack now. That's what is the Lotto, the gamble deck lights run is known for, sacking some mills.
So it's time to get a little bit lucky.
Yeah. By the way, he also has the two best friends in the game, Giant Rex and Snow. But now, as I see it now, he runs over the Snow and maybe opens up the possibility for Dimitros to summon the Snow back before he goes into Minerva.
Well, I think he needs to banish from the hand at this point.
Really?
But I think with his hand it's alright to do so.
Probably. I mean, he drew into another Desires. That was correct. I mean, drawing double Desires is not that good, but this game is very slow and they're playing 60 cards, so he's not very likely to lose by being deck out.
Okay, so he let it through. That's interesting.
So
There's draw one.
Raiden. Draw one. So there we go. And Soul Charge.
There's a spell. That's already...
Soul Charge.
Well, he can't use it this turn. Well, the spell is the Twin Twister, the third one, so he drew a monster.
No, he started with 3 Twin Twisters, so...
Yeah, so...
Another Solitaire. Like that is actually a quite decent draw. If Dimitros decides that he has to get rid of the Minerva, then he can go get an Omega, finally.
I mean, Minerva on the field is annoying to clear just because of this 3 mills potential pops and the Snow getting more resources to use. Also, it's really a weird game. I mean, okay, oh, he drew the plant. Because, like, you see Dimitros with his 7 cards in hand against Yannick with 3 dead cards, Minerva and 1 card in hand, but it's not like it's over for Yannick at this point.
Yeah. I mean, the funny thing is, this board with Minerva in 2 sets looks kind of threatening, because set cards usually mean something is going to go very badly for you. But this Brilliant Fusion will now be taken out by the Twin Twister. So his plan, Yannick's plan, that he made weeks ago is now going to go off. Just sitting there, petting his cat in his chair, the Maxnomic chair. And I think he's going to go for the evil laugh when he activates the Twin Twisters. Ha ha.
Well, I mean, he has to like get a little smile or try to smile a little bit just because it worked out as you said. Because he will discard the Twin Twist for sure. Okay, so yeah, so it's actually interesting on Dimitros's side that he go for the second Desires before.
Yeah, he might just he activated 1 Desires already, so he might have just banished the Garnet.
The first Garnet, second in hand, so he won't be possible to do anything. So actually, this field is all like doing nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he can go. He's probably also rid of Goblinberg and Thousand Blades, so he might just have.
It's so weird, this game.
Yeah, I mean, if this
nobody's doing anything, like really.
Yeah, no one is accomplishing anything.
I mean, now for Yannick would be interesting to draw like grass. Like, well, I think they sided out grass.
I don't think you side out grass as player who goes second. I think you just side out the left arms.
Okay, well, that makes actually sense. Like,
no one sides out left arms. I mean, Yannick has one in the graveyard.
That's true. Well, the left, yeah, but okay, there it is. But so it's actually interesting that Dimitros was able to activate 2 Desires and not punishing like a Garnet. Like, okay,
he could have been punished by that really hard. I mean, banishing. He tried to bait out an Ash, but I mean that would have been. I see no reason to go for the Desires before Brilliant Fusion.
No, not really, especially in a spot where you already have the Snow Engrave and
Yeah, true.
you have Solitaire and Spirit Master in hand.
This looks like 10 cards, right? 10 or 12. And this also, this game is going to be really grindy because both players have access to Fairy Hill Snow. I mean, Yannick has basically no card in hand, but Dimitros also does not have too many plays. I mean, you could try to go for a Saryuya at some point because he has the access to Spirit Master and Solitaire in hand. He might just summon 4 monsters and bait out a Snow, the Fairy Tail. So he just probably goes ahead and does that, summons Snow, decides how the chain links will go off. I mean, it doesn't matter because there's no real interruption for these chains anyway, so yeah, Minerva triggers if you pop it with Spirit Master, bro.
I think maybe he's like reading it in order to know if it can miss the timing.
Oh
Because
yeah,
that's something like older cards were quite popular in missing timing.
yeah, true. When can and if. Can and if. Just such a big difference.
Okay, so he decided to pop the. I'm not sure on that if that's correct. Because if he's milling a wolf, like,
Yeah.
then the whole idea wasn't. Okay, so what is
So they're
he trying
debating
to do?
So let me just see if I can get the card text.
So he's milling with Minerva, Spirit Master,
Okay, so Garnet.
Garnet. Okay, doesn't do anything what he milled.
Nope.
However, the draws would have been also like will have helped him to anything, so it's alright.
Yeah.
He still has Snow. That's now actually a good question. If you would Snow at this point,
I think
his
you have
Snow, I
Yeah.
guess. Just because he has like just a Brilliant Fusion Engrave. His hand. Oh, he has a Called by the Grave in hand now,
Oh,
Dimitros.
that hurts. I don't think there is
They're not
enough
14 cards like.
Oh, wait,
so-
there was a Brigade and 2 Minerva resolves. And there is a Giant Rex that he summoned with the Gold Sarcophagus, so I think he could be close. 2 Twin Twisters, yes, there would be more than 14 cards.
3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, yeah. Something around there though. But then like Yannick wouldn't have like any cards left to play, so that's a question.
That's not exactly true because first, Dimitros' turn would be just straight up over. And secondly, he would have Dino Boy. He would have Giant Rex in play. And he can't beat over Giant Rex.
And Snow. And we have on Dimitros' side, only thing he can do, the only thing he could go like into Invoker. Do something. Okay, so he's going straight into.
Skuldress.
I think it was correct from Yannick's side to not use the Snow, just because if Dimitros is going to set the Called by the Grave, which seems a play you can do, he can use his second Twin Twister to get rid of Call from the Grave, and that could actually give him the opportunity to win this game, which would be actually quite funny. That we got into this spot where the double Twin Twister was necessary to, or
I mean,
was the
if
way
he
to
had
win it.
a Predator plan, then he would have won already, right?
I think so, yeah.
So, right now you can't really tell. I mean, Saryuya is going to do a lot. Really, just huge amounts of cards are going to go back to the deck. Like Garnet makes Brilliant Fusion alive again.
Driver.
If it's not, it should be alive, right? The driver is in graveyard, I think.
Oh yeah, he discarded it for the Predator Plant. That's true.
Raiden and Gozuki aren't really that useful. I mean, just shuffling the Garnet back is great, right? That's basically a draw 2. So he decides to go for a Gozuki, special summon it, and use the effect. I think Yannick is checking if this is a normal summon effect, but it's a once per turn effect, I think.
The question is now,
does he book it?
well, that's, I think, the one question. And the other, if you play the card on your own, for example, Gozuki, will you still read your opponent's Gozuki, just to be sure? Or would you like say, okay, I know the card, so... Because Yannick isn't playing the Gozuki. In this case, I think it's possible that he just don't know what the card does exactly. But if you will play it on your own, I had this discussion, or it happens from time to time, like, if you're playing a mirror match and you're going to read the card from your open, like, should you do that?
Yeah.
Because basically you should know your own deck, what the cards do.
But sometimes it's just trying to interrupt your opponent's thought process.
I mean, back then with Dingirzo in the Spiral format, like, everybody played it, but you had to reread it like 3 times each time just to be sure that you really know what the card does.
You can ogre it on some.
Exactly.
I learned that the hard way. So Yannick looks very sad. He has seen the Cult by the Grave, and he does not like that. So he has to banish a lot of good cards. Unizombie, Solitaire, the Twin Twister, which did not do. I mean, he should have snowed earlier, right?
It seemed like the correct play, but however, like, if your opponent has like 5 cards in hand, it seems wrong to book 1 monster out of 4 on the field.
He's doing nothing with all of those 5 cards, and this deck runs a lot of level 4 monsters. So
the question is if Yannick can know that Dimitrios can't do anything with his 5 cards in hand.
He's done nothing the turn before, so...
You could argue because of Dweller that he decided to not do anything particular at this point. Okay, so it's going... And now what is interesting, I'm not sure how Called by the Grave is worded, because the snow resolved...
it just negates the effect of the card until the end of the turn if the card is banished.
Okay, if the card is banished, okay.
So it has to resolve.
So his snow in the graveyard is alive. Okay, so we have the Solitaire in hand of Yannick and 1 other card, which will be now quite interesting.
Indeed.
So he looks into the extra deck.
Maybe a top deck card of Demise. I mean, it would have saved Maxi from an immediate loss. So maybe he can win. But I don't think he's running Demise, so... But
I mean, he also milled the Reborn, so... Like, the power spells, there aren't that many left, like a Brilliant Fusion.
But he also milled a Garnet, but he's running 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there should be another one. Grass, he probably has less cards than his opponent.
I think he wouldn't have thought so long about it.
No. I mean, it's not that much, right?
I mean, I think how much time he takes to think about the situation, the card doesn't do anything, or anything that would help him right now.
Yeah, so he summons the Solitaire. I think this might just be an easy Book of Moon if the Unizombie hits the field. But
that's a question. How many cards does he have in Grave? Quite a lot, I see, so yeah.
The thing is that he could have also just booked the Solitaire, because due to this, he gets 1 extra card in the graveyard, or in play, to use Fairy Tale Snow again.
That's true.
I mean, yes, he's losing a lot of resources, and he does not have nearly enough to summon Snow back again. But you don't really want him to get closer. Okay, so yeah, he snows now to book the Unizombie.
He's on 3 cards in hand, 7 banished there. He's banishing the driver from the graveyard. which I actually don't like. It's just a card that you leave in the graveyard to let your opponent be afraid of the Gamma.
I mean, it's very unlikely that he's going to use his Gamma this game, right?
Well, that's clear. But who knows? Maybe he gets into a situation where, like, a driver in graveyard, because I think it does make a big difference at this point what you're banishing. Besides, like, Spirit Masters or Giant Rexes, because there he's banishing a Spirit Master. Okay, and now they have this the discussion because of Call of the Grave.
Yeah, but
pretty sure that, as you said, you have to banish the card.
Yeah, it should resolve. Yeah,
Oh.
it does. Oh,
Okay.
Spirit Master as well. Right, you know that.
He's using Spirit Master to pop it. And okay, apparently
I'm going to check that.
That's interesting.
I am pretty sure that this is not how the card works. Called by the grave or called from the grave? Called by. So let's target one monster in your opponent's GUI, banish it, and if you do, until the end of the next turn, its effects are negated. This effect should resolve.
Okay. I think now the problem is not sure if it's repairable at this point. So they probably will continue like this.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't make a big difference, because yeah, it looks really good for
I mean,
Dimitrios at this point.
This should be easily repairable, right? You should just put Snow on board.
That's a question, because when you put Snow on board, he could have booked face down something, and not 100% sure, but yeah.
Yeah, there's the handshake anyways.
Thankfully, it didn't make any difference. Oh, he milled with Raiden, Trickland, and Heroic Blade.
Oh, that is
decent.
Quite a combo. that is the ultimate combo breaker mill.
So Dimitrios takes it with a 2-0.
Yeah.
It still took like 35 minutes, but it was actually cool to see like 60 card decks in action.
Yeah, I mean, Yannick had quite a problem with drawing good cards. I mean, the Brilliant Fusion opening was okay, but it got ashed, and then he lost from that point on.
Yeah, it's still like, still not 100% sure if he should have gone made the play that he decided to do with reborning the Ash Blossom, think charge, and hoping just to mill Snow. And if you do, you should be aware that the Snow needs to be in the grave as an interruption, because the Dweller on its own isn't doing anything.
Yeah, he might have just gone for the slow game.
Exactly,
the game. Yeah. So what I think is quite ironic